Our story opens in a dazzling skyscraper, towering like Landmark 881. Inside, a grand press conference is underway. A reporter begins her introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Bayan, the young CEO of D-Glomrate, an influential name in the world of business. His empire, spanning gaming, tech, food, lifestyle, and even transportation, is worth hundreds of billions. His reach touches millions of lives. You'd assume someone at the helm of such a vast enterprise must be ruthless, cold, and calculating. But in a recent interview, Bayan shattered all stereotypes. Nicknamed the best boss ever, he's a beloved figure, seen as a visionary investor, a gaming prodigy, a brilliant manager, and a man with a keen eye for the future. Facing the camera, Bayan wiped away tears. "I don't have any special talent for business," he admitted. "Honestly, everything I've achieved, it's just luck. My only goal at the start was to lose $50,000. The reporter smiled, clearly touched. Such humility from a business genius. I'm at a loss for words, and with that, we're taken back, way back, to 2009 at Handong University in Jingsu. "City! Bayan! Wake up! You're late for class!" a voice called. Startled, Bayan opened his eyes. This wasn't the luxury suite he remembered. This was a student dorm. Standing by the door was his friend Manang, smirking mischievously. "Deputy Dean's lecture today. You'll get in trouble if you're late," he said, dashing off. Bayan blinked. "What?" he mumbled, still groggy. "Isn't this my dorm?" Then it hit him. This isn't my apartment. It's the university dorm. Wait, the year, it's 2009? He leapt up, shocked. Had he really gone back 10 years? Grabbing his cheek, he pinched hard. The Yahello pain confirmed it. It was real. Just as he was about to lose it, something appeared before his eyes. A translucent screen. Lines of glowing text scrolled rapidly. Wealth transfer system initializing. Binding to host. Successful. Staring in disbelief, Bayan read on. Host. Bayan system funds. 50,000 personal assets. 443 system rules. Funds can only be used for business-related expenses. No personal spending allowed. Losses and profits are calculated. After each settlement cycle, profits convert to personal assets at a 100.1 ratio. Losses convert at a 1.1 ratio. Bayan burst out laughing. Of course. What's a time travel story without a system? The logic was now clear. Losing system funds, their personal gain. If he blew all $50,000, it would convert dollar for dollar into his personal wealth. That meant the worse his business did, the richer he became. "Brilliant," he said with a grin. "This system is top tier." But the money from the system, though real, wasn't his to use freely unless he lost it in business. The plan was simple. Use it to fail fast and hard. With renewed confidence, Bayan struck a dramatic pose. "I'm going to make a fortune by throwing money into the void." Then another prompt appeared. Final step. "Please name your company." He paused. Let's call it Dang Dod Technology Network Limited Liability Company." The name itself sounded lofty, but to Bayan, it symbolized a hopeful crash and burn. He completed the registration and reviewed the final terms. The next settlement would occur in 14 days. If no product launched by then, the clock would reset. "All right," he thought, rubbing his chin. "If I want to make real money, I've got to tank this company fast. I'll turn 440 thrars into $50, 440 thrars, easy." With that, he summoned his imaginary team for a private strategy session. The goal? Plan the worst business moves possible. He stood at the head of the imaginary table. "Welcome to the first official money-losing strategy conference. Suggestions?" A bespectacled figure raised his hand. "Let's be careful. The system outlined over 200 strict laws. Breaking them results in serious penalties. So, no scams, fraud, or anything illegal." Bayan nodded. "Right. Can't cheat. The system. But this world's still 10 years behind in tech, and copyright laws are super loose. Another version of Bayan, lounging with a gaming console, spoke up. We could build a game. Game development burns a ton of money, and most fail. But then the practical Bayan frowned. True, but once a gaming company collapses, there's nothing left. Fixed asset businesses can at least sell equipment. Plus, I've got memories from the future. I know which games will win. I should avoid those. Everyone in his mental boardroom agreed. Let's go with game development, Bayan grinned. Perfect. Step 1, make a game. Step 2, burn through every cent. Step 3, cash out and party like there's no tomorrow. With a cackle, he declared, let's stick to the plan and just go completely off the rails. With all these thoughts swimming in his head, Bayan felt like he was walking on air. He imagined his future, a dream life filled with luxury, laughter, and lazy days. Making money while goofing off, throwing parties, and enjoying life's finer pleasures. In his fantasy, he would quickly rise to fame as a legendary tycoon in the gaming world. Fueled by that vision, Bayan got to work that very same day. But after just a few hours at the computer, frustration hit him like a wall. Designing a game from scratch? Way harder than expected. Fortunately, there was a site backed by EXO where he could buy assets and use their official tools to build his game. Once done, the site would review it, and if it passed, it could be published. All it took was $50,000. So, he dove in. First, he picked the driving model base version for $20,000, which included a slick VIP-looking interior. Then came the Desert Expressway map, another $23,000. Pricey, but it had the aesthetic he wanted. Sound effects? $6,000. Finally, he dropped the last $11,000 on a feature to track player rankings. Perfect. Budget. Fully spent. Yet something still felt off. I know, he thought. Let's make the difficulty unbearable, like eating level 7 spicy noodles while getting nagged by your parents. So he added a punishing mechanic. Players had to drive 8 grueling hours just to clear one level. Eventually, they'd get rescued from their addiction mid-game. Ha! Genius move, he smirked. 2 hours later, Bayan leaned back, satisfied. This should be good enough to pass, he said, giving his creation one last look before testing it out. The moment the game loaded, reality hit him hard. It was hideous. Worse than a toddler's finger painting. His jaw dropped. What the hell is this? He groaned. Even I can't look at it, let alone play it for 8 hours. He shook his head in disbelief. If someone actually enjoys this, I'll call them my master. No hate reviews? That's the real surprise. With a sigh, he muttered, if I make any money from this, I'll start clapping for myself. Later that evening, back at the dorm, the room was loud with yelling and chaos. As all 4 roommates played a team game together, voices rang out. Someone cursed at a teammate named Dian Jihua. Can't you stop soloing and play with the team? Idiot keeps running off and getting himself killed. Among them, a player named Mayang turned to Bayan and asked, You're really skipping school for this? Bayan replied while still in the middle of the match. Come on, Mayang, every time we group up, you're never around. The rest of our team gets wiped on the side of the road. Do you even know how to play as a team? We're 3 against 1 and still not making progress. I racked up 11 kills, 2 assists, and we still lost. It's maddening. Mayang fired back. Stop acting like you're the only one who matters. Bayan froze, baffled by what he'd just heard. You got 2 kills, died 3 times, assisted 2, and you think that gives you the right to talk? You're a total liability, and you're talking trash. Unbothered, Mayang slurped up the rest of his noodles and calmly said, I really tried my best. Mayang was serious and hard-working, but his gaming skills were just average. He wasn't tall, and in fact, he was very short. Despite his limitations, he kept trying. Meanwhile, the group queued for another round. Tonight, we're pushing from bronze to silver, someone shouted. Bayan watched their poor performance and decided to sit this one out. I'm getting sleepy, he mumbled, flopping onto his bed with a satisfied sigh. Pulling out his phone, he thought, So what if I lose in the game? Big deal. Then a notification lit up the screen. His $50,000 had arrived at last. Excitement surged through him like fireworks. All he could think about now was diving into the world of elite gaming, flashy equipment, next-gen gear, custom setups. His imagination soared. Cut to a cramped rented room across town. A man named Guan Yu sat at his desk, scowling at his screen. He was known for making viral reviews of bizarre, low-quality games under the alias KC. Lately, though, things weren't going well. His latest batch of trash game videos flopped. Views were down, clicks were scarce. No ads meant no income. And no income meant no dates. Just as boredom threatened to crush him, he stumbled across a game titled Desert Lurin Expressway, made by none other than our friend, Buy-In, priced at just $1. What is this nonsense? Ganyu muttered. The description read, a simulated driving journey through the desert that makes you contemplate the meaning of life. Weird, creepy. Exactly the kind of thing that might just go viral. Well, he said with a grin, let's see how a $1 game can mess with someone's mind. Putting his thoughts into action, the chubby guy launched the game right away. The desert map looked like it was thrown together in 5 minutes. The graphics were a mess, and the controls were stiff and clunky. The sound design? Creepy at best. But for someone who's been through the trenches of terrible indie games, this was nothing new. Just another bizarre experience in a sea of digital garbage. Still, something was off. He drove for what felt like forever with nothing changing. What's going on? Why is nothing happening? He muttered. 10 more minutes passed. Still no twists, no challenges, just endless road. Who even am I? What's the point of this game? He questioned aloud, the existential dread creeping in. Aside from turning the wheel through the occasional bend, there was nothing. No goal, no excitement. Then it hit him. This was exactly like his own life. Just coasting along, no highs, no lows. Just existing. He kept driving, lost in thought, until suddenly a voice broke the trance. Hold on, I'm gonna make some instant noodles. Keep playing when I'm back. Confused, he tried to pause the game, but it wouldn't let him. His focus slipped, and the next thing he knew, he'd crashed into a rock wall. His eyes widened in shock. Wait, you're telling me I have to start over? I just drove for half an hour. Furious, he gritted his teeth. All right, fine. I found this game's flaw. As soon as I eat, I'm making an expose video. The next morning, Buy-In watched that expose. The video laid it all out. An 8-hour drive, requiring full attention the whole way because a curve pops up every few minutes. And if you miss even one, it's back to the start. The cherry on top? The game ends with a simple line. Congratulations, you've just wasted 8 hours of your life. The chubby gamer's conclusion. This game made me think about my entire existence. I can't believe it, but it's genius. And the comments? Endless. People were obsessed. Didn't skip a second. Now I'm questioning my purpose. Another wrote, just bought it. I need to find meaning in the desert. Someone else posted, spend $1 to question your entire life. Sounds fair. One person even declared, if you don't buy this, are you even human? Buy-In clutched his head in disbelief. What is going on? Why is everyone loving this thing instead of roasting it like all those other terrible games? Bewildered, he started typing furiously, trying to do damage control. I made this game to be deliberately bad. Don't buy it. It's a trap. 1. Viewer shot back. Don't insult our intelligence. I love this game. Buy-In nearly cried. Am I the crazy one? Or is it the whole world that's lost it? Somehow his broken-down game had become a viral sensation, praised as philosophical art. As he sat reeling, the system chimed in with the sales summary, profit-sharing info, player stats, and totals. Owner, Buy-In height, 178 centimeters weight, 85 key gauge. 19 Zodiac. Scorpio Company's current capital, 1,463 total revenue, 75,400 personal earnings, 754 available funds, 97 buy-ins stared at the screen, ready to cough up blood. His original $50,000 investment had completely vanished, and for all the game's success, he barely made $700. Instantly, he called for an emergency strategy meeting in his own mind. This is ridiculous. How did that nonsense game earn over 200K, and we only got a few crumbs? Wearing glasses now for extra seriousness, one version of buy-in said, well, now that we've seen the numbers, the question is, how do we spend the remaining company funds before the next settlement? Another sipped his coffee and calmly replied, no point crying over spilled cash. What we need is a smart plan to drain the system's capital quickly. One buy-in slammed the table. Let's hire someone incompetent. We pay them a full salary and they'll burn through our resources in no time. But who? Another asked. A sly grin formed. Isn't it obvious? We've got someone perfect right under our noses. Mei Yang, they all chimed in. Exactly. He's got a talent for failing upward. Even his dumbbell project for gym class didn't hurt anyone. He's harmless and hopeless. Just what we need. As if summoned by name, Ma Yang popped his head in. Hey, I brought some food for you guys. Bayan's eyes lit up. He took the food gratefully and beamed. Thank you, Ma Yang. With you by our side, everything is possible. You're my last hope. Ma Yang stood there frozen, unsure if Bayan had just praised him or gone completely mad from hunger. Eventually, the two brothers made their way to a nearby pub, eager to relax with a drink and some conversation. Mayan tore into his meal like a wild animal, using both hands, fully focused on the food in front of him. Meanwhile, Bayan sat silently, deep in thought. I've got $300,000 in capital now. Hiring someone shouldn't be a problem, right? As he mulled it over, Mayan glanced up, suspicious. Why the sudden treat? Did you hit the jackpot or something? Bayan, mildly annoyed, rested his head on one hand like a bored snake. Yeah, I made a little money, he muttered casually. Quietly, he opened up the system panel. $174,500 had just been added to his capital, bringing it back up to the stable $300,000. His personal balance, though? Still stuck at a measly $97,000. Unbothered by any of this, Mayan kept devouring grilled chicken wings. Man, these wings are the best. Always come here for them. Across the table, Bayan held a Coke, but his mind was elsewhere. His heart ached. My poor mom worked herself to the bone, and in the end, all she had was $900 to her name. He composed himself and started thinking more strategically. So the system tops my capital up to $300,000 after every settlement? The next one's in a month. This time, I've got to find a way to burn through it all. While he was lost in his plans, Mayan looked at him curiously. What's with you? You're barely eating. Bayan replied, I've been working on a game project, but I need help. Are you interested? Mayan almost dropped his chicken in shock. A game? That costs a fortune. How are you even planning to afford that? Putting on an air of confidence, Bayan leaned in. All right, I'll be honest. I'm from a wealthy family. They just gave me $300,000. That should cover it, right? Mayan's face went pale. Wait, what? That much money? Bayan smirked internally. Hook, line, and sinker. Kids are so easy to fool. Still stunned, Mayan asked, Okay, but do you know anything about art? Programming? Not at all, Bayan replied coolly. But who cares? I can buy assets online and hire actual professionals. Problem solved. But we don't know anything about game design, Mayan argued. What if we blow all $300,000 and it crashes and burns? That's on you. Bayan clenched his fists. Under the table, gritting his teeth. Ugh, this guy's conscience is seriously in my way. No choice, I'll have to bluff him hard. He leaned back smugly. Ever heard of the game Desert Lurin Expressway? That ridiculous hit everyone's talking about? Mayan blinked. Yeah, what about it? I made it, Bayan said, sipping his Coke like it was no big deal. Mayan spit out his drink in disbelief. You made that dumb game? I had no idea you were actually talented. Okay, fine, I'm in. I'll take the risk with you. Bayan blinked. Wait, what just happened? Mayan stood up, fired up. I may not be great at anything, but I'm reliable. I'll help however I can. I'm off to the bookstore to get some game design books. You're not doing this alone. And off he sprinted like a man on a mission, leaving Bayan confused. What is he doing? Books. Isn't this overkill? Does he actually have potential? Could he be a valuable asset? A few hours later, Mayan returned, carrying a literal bookshelf's worth of books, a wicked grin on his face. Hey, Bayan. I'm back, he shouted proudly. Bayan stood frozen for a solid minute. What the? Why do you have so many books? Mayan slammed them down on the table. They were on discount, so I bought dozens. Bayan rifled through the stack, his eyes wide. He even bought books about neck pain, baldness prevention, all kinds of nonsense. He's not even coding yet, and he's worried about going bald. Incredible. Well, he thought, I might have picked the wrong person. But no, he's exactly who I need. That's great, Mayan said with a grin. Let's start reading. I'll start with this advanced general programming one. He opened the book and stared. I recognize every word, but I have no idea what they mean when they're put together. Bayan sighed. He's not entirely wrong. Saying these books are useless would be harsh, but saying they help would be a lie. Hey, Mayan, he said, trying to keep his cool. We're designing a game, not programming it ourselves. These books are probably outdated anyway. Mayan's face flushed red. What? That's why they were discounted? Can't even return them now. Bayan chuckled. No worries, skim through them. We'll write them off as a business expense. At that, Mayan's mood flipped completely. We're getting reimbursed? Sweet, I'll start reading right now. He plopped onto the bed and cracked open a book with enthusiasm, only to roll over and fall asleep 5 minutes later, snoring like a pig. Bayan watched in disbelief, then slammed his hand on the table, tears welling up. Unbelievable. He's got the heart of a lion and the brain of a goldfish. But this is the kind of employee I need. Loyal, passionate, and completely unpredictable. If only I knew more people like Mayan. Then again, if I did, I'd probably go broke within the week. He sighed. All right, time to move on. I've still got $300,000 to spend and a lot of items to identify. Sometime later, Bayan stood grinning, a stack of colorful cards in his hands. My gang looked at him in confusion. Huh? Are you trying to challenge us to a card game or something? One of them asked. Beaming, Bayan nodded. Exactly. We're going to make a Sango-themed card game. I've already bought a base model from the resource library, he added proudly. Wearing a yellow shirt, Mayang hopped down from the bed and looked at him skeptically. Bayan, are you seriously thinking of copying a game like Battle Sango? I heard tons of people are making card games right now. Plus, Sango is everywhere. You check the top 10 games and at least half have Sango in the title. Bayan couldn't help but smirk. That's exactly why I'm doing it, he thought. If card games are in demand, then I'm diving right in. If Sango is trending, I'll ride the wave. The more crowded the space, the more likely my version will stand out. Feeling energized by this mindset, he instantly called for a meeting in his imagination. Who wants to speak first? He asked mentally. Baikan, pushing his glasses up in a serious manner, raised his hand. Let's talk payment strategy. Sango has tighter monetization mechanics than most other card games. That's part of why it exploded in popularity. Another Baikan, this one with a coffee cup in hand, chimed in. So let's price our game at $10. Just the base game, nothing else special. They'll definitely complain, someone said. Exactly. Let them. Let's go totally against the grain. No recharge options, no pay to win. Even whales won't have anything to spend on. The imaginary team around the table burst into excited chatter. Right, keep it at 10. Even better, after they buy it, the only thing in the store is a $30 permanent membership card. With such low options, even if they want to spend more, they can't. The 5 bycans pictured themselves gathered at a round table, giddy and smug, imagining the chaos to come. Players everywhere were already ranting in their heads. What the hell? I can't buy anything in this stupid game. This game is trash. My $10 wasted. I want a refund. Back in reality, Mayang broke into a nervous sweat and stammered. Wait, what kind of characters are we even putting in? Is Bayan serious? I only know a few Sango characters from the movies. I haven't done a full deep dive. Before he could finish, Bayan slapped him on the shoulder cheerfully. No problem. I believe in you. Our Sango characters have to feel totally unique, fresh, and even ridiculous if need be, Bayan added. Mayang sighed, defeated. All right. I'll give it a shot. Bayan stroked his chin thoughtfully. I know you've got it in you. You don't have to get everything perfect. Just sketch a direction. Remember, the more bizarre and outlandish, the better. Mayang, meanwhile, was in full creative meltdown, holding his head. Crap, I've got nothing. Then suddenly, he blurted out, Hey Baikan, can I turn Kuan Yu into a dragon? Approved, Baikan said immediately. After a moment, Mayang added, Can I turn Maya into a horse? And Zay into a dragon princess? What about Lamb? Can he be like a llama? Every time, Baikan simply nodded. Inside, Bayan was silently shaking his head. This kid is wild, but I'm not regretting choosing him. Kuan Yu as a dragon princess. Lamb turned into a llama. It's gross. It's absurd. It's perfect. If the current Ban Go games are all using cutesy, chibi designs and people are eating it up, then I'll go in the opposite direction. A realistic art style. The kind that makes people uncomfortable. There's this artist, Ruan Wangjian. His previous works lean heavily on the chibi side, so he's probably not experienced in realism. Even better, perfect. A totally chaotic plan. Hire a chibi artist to do realism, make the designs intentionally weird, toss in some minor gameplay tweaks, charge $10 for the base game and $30 for a membership. Let the Sango fans rage, a game. Like this? If someone actually manages to enjoy it, they deserve a standing ovation. A few days later, inside the cafeteria at Donggan University, Bayan is engrossed in reading a report while Mayang sits nearby, poking half-heartedly at her lunch. Bayan silently praises the report in his mind. Brilliant. So clean and sharp. It barely feels like writing. Just one word. Nice. With a sudden burst of cheer, he blurts out, Man, this guy is rock solid. I don't think I could have come up with anything better myself. Then, pointing out the originality, he adds, Aside from the names and a few traits, this is nothing. Like the 3 Sandal characters. It's on another level. The guy in the yellow shirt looks up, genuinely impressed. Whoa, that's awesome. Inspired by the praise, Bayan throws out a bold idea. What if we make all the Sandal generals female? That would be insane! Instantly, Mayang slams the brakes on that idea. No way! She stares at him, confused. Why not? You're the one who said you wanted a fresh take. Bayan frowns, his voice turning serious. Doing that would kill the uniqueness of their characters. But deep down, he's also thinking, and if this actually becomes popular, I might miss my shot. Trying to smooth things over, he grins and says, Your version's already great. Mel as a centaur, Guan Yu as a dragon. It's more memorable. This way. The yellow-shirted guy nods. Ah, I see. That makes sense. Got it. Bayan, feeling good, beams. All right, once we're back in the room, transfer all this to the computer. I'll coordinate with the artist. Internally, he smirks. Lucky for me, Mayang is easy to nudge in the right direction. That same afternoon, over at the dormitory of the Fine Arts Department at M Financial Economics University, 3 art students are gathered. These are the artists Bian contacted. The one with long hair is Ruan Guangjian, a fine arts major. His 2 friends hover behind him, clearly worried. One whispers, "So, what's the deal? Is it happening?" Guangjian shoos them back with a wave. "Back off. I'm talking business here. Whether we feast or starve the next few months depends on this." With the mood set, the negotiation begins. Guangjian starts. "How many pieces do you need? Any specific requests?" Bian responds confidently. "No chibi style. Other than that, it's up to you. 50 characters, each with 4 original illustrations. That's 200 pages total." Guangjian's eyes widen. Internally, he groans. "All my best work is chibi, and the first thing he does is ban it." Still, he gathers himself and says, "All right, that'll be $2,000 per set. I know it might sound pricey for someone just starting out, but my technique is sharp and my execution flawless." Bian does the math in his head. "Wait, $2,000 per set? That's $500 per page. That's insane." He shakes his head. "That's a bit much." Guangjian stands firm. "That's already the lowest I can offer." Bian leans forward. "You see, this project requires a whole new style. It's not just the quantity, it's the complexity. Plus, our internal team has no clue about art, so the guidance is vague." Then he slaps the table, raises 3 fingers and says, "Considering all that, I think $3,000 per set is actually more fair." Guangjian snaps the pen in his hand, stunned. "Is this guy serious? He's adding 50% to his own cost." "Is this some kind of riddle?" Bian continues, handing over a brief document. "Here's the character outline." Guangjian skims through it and goes stiff. "This is so vague. How am I supposed to work from this?" Bian reassures him. "Don't worry. I believe in your talent. No need for multiple revisions. Do what feels right. You can even include that in the contract." Still reeling from the surprise, Guangjian mutters, "I guess that works. No need for extra formalities then. Let's just e-sign the contract." "Perfect," Bian beams. Contract signed. Meanwhile, Mayang is fast asleep back at the dorm, snoring peacefully, completely unaware of what's unfolding. Bian grins slyly to himself. No need to blow money on marketing. The less people who know about this, the better. Now to budget for sound effects, costume rentals, props, and keep a $10,000 cushion for emergencies. Back on campus, Guangjian rallies his fellow arty students. "All right, everyone, let's move. I've got the green light." They exchange shocked glances as they look over the deal. "Wait, $33,000 for 4 pages? That's wild. Seriously, at this rate we'll draw anything they want." Guangjian clears it up. "No chibi this time. The client was firm on that. Anything else is fair game." A red-haired student blinks. "Didn't you say all your portfolio work is chibi? Why'd they come to you if they don't want chibi?" "Shut up," Guangjian snaps. "You think I like drawing chibi? It's just what the market wants. Now I finally get to do something real." The others nod. This might just be the beginning of something big. And so the journey begins, with Bian unknowingly finding a real artistic powerhouse. After listening carefully, one of the artists crossed his arms and commented seriously, "Honestly, this style might not work for a typical Three Kingdoms game." Ruan Guangjian replied with conviction, "That's exactly why it stands out. In this version, we're reimagining the classic generals entirely to match an epic fantasy style." He looked around at his team. "Here's the plan. I'll take care of the character design drafts. You guys help refine them. Once we get the essence down, I'll finalize everything so the style stays consistent and powerful." Everyone nodded, slowly getting the vision. They shook hands, silently agreeing to push forward, no matter the outcome. If the audience doesn't like it, well, that's on the client. They're footing the bill anyway, someone said with a grin. Ruan smiled. "But if this explodes, If people love it, we might actually pull off something big. Who knows? Maybe even start our own studio after graduation. The room erupted with renewed energy. Let's do it. Let's aim for the top and show what we can really create. 3 weeks passed. Ruan Guangjian, normally dashing and full of charm, now looked like a shell of himself. 10 sleepless nights had turned him into a zombie with sunken eyes and a slow shuffle. We're finally done, he whispered hoarsely, staring at the ceiling. You guys did great. Let's grab some food. But his exhausted teammates were already passed out, lying in twisted heaps like soldiers after a long war. Fine. I'll treat them to something nice tomorrow, he muttered to himself, heading to his computer. He sent a message to Bayan, who was back in his dorm room. Bayan blinked when the alert popped up. No way. Finished already? He opened the message, surprised by the speed. Incredible work. Just hope the quality holds up, he muttered. Then he checked his system dashboard. Only 8 days left until the next accounting deadline. His available funds had dropped dramatically, down by over $291,000. All that remained was $8,192. Bayan did the math. All right. $3,000 goes to Mang's salary at the end of the month. That leaves $5,000. I'll use the rest for final resources and polish. No room for mistakes now. He clicked the download link for Ruan's final artwork. Please don't be too good, he whispered, almost nervously. When the file opened, his jaw nearly hit the desk. Right there on the screen was Guan Yu, not as the usual stoic general, but as a menacing, sleek warrior wielding a colossal villain-style axe. Bayan froze. Wait, is this real? Did Ruan actually draw this? This is on a whole different level. Why the heck does he always showcase chibi stuff when he can do this? His mind kicked into emergency mode. I declare an urgent crisis meeting with myself. Inside his imagination, multiple versions of himself gathered like war generals at a strategy table. We can't delay any longer. The game has to launch in 2 days, or the system won't settle the funds. We need a solution now. One of the Bayans adjusted his glasses. Let's stay calm. These new styles are bold, sure, but maybe that's the charm. It's a risk worth taking. Another Bayan chimed in with a coffee cup in hand. Besides, the game is built on outdated models and simple mechanics. There's nothing flashy beyond the visuals. These designs might be the only hook we have. A third version, dressed in a differently colored bow tie, agreed. Exactly. No one's heard of our game anyway, so we control the first impression. Let's keep expectations vague and steer clear of any obvious titles like Sando or Three Kingdoms. The imaginary conference room buzzed like a marketplace, all voices blending in chaotic agreement. Right. Don't try to dominate. Search rankings. Just submit the game with a simple name and a mysterious description. That'll do the trick. Later that day, Mayang showed up in Beyond's room and peeked at the screen. Whoa. Are those the characters for our game? This is incredible, Bayan smiled. Thanks to your suggestions, the artists got creative. It helped a lot. Mayang lit up. Seriously? I guess I've got a knack for this stuff too. Hey, why don't you help us test for bugs? Bayan asked. If it runs smoothly, we'll prep for launch. Sure thing, Mayang replied eagerly, following Bayan to the computer. Oh, one last thing, he asked. What's the game called again? Bayan replied casually. Glaijang. Just a plain old card game. The table was overflowing with grilled meats and drinks, the atmosphere buzzing with excitement. Come on, everyone, eat up! These lamb skewers are best hot, someone shouted, raising a glass. Don't hold back. Nobody's leaving sober. Tonight! Laughter rang out as the group dug in. In the middle of it all, a bespectacled teammate suddenly turned to Wang Jian. Hey, quick question. What game are these illustrations for, and when's it going live? Wang Jian scratched, his head a bit hazy from the drinks. I think it's called Gaiyang. Not too sure about the release date, though. I haven't checked. Pulling out his phone, he opened up the EXO platform. Wait, what? It's already live? He gasped. Didn't we just hand in the artwork this morning? The entire group dropped their food and scrambled to check their phones. Stunned, silence followed. Huh? This is just a regular card game? But it looks amazing. One of them nearly shouted, "Holy crap, even Desert Landing Expressway, that weird $10 game, was made by this guy." "I bought that one," Ruan Guangan admitted. "I had to see how our work turned out." Just then, someone in a white hoodie started tapping away at the game. "All right, let me try a draw." "Wait, no way. I got 2 cards in one pull." Others quickly followed. "Me too. Same here. I even got 3. The table buzzed with shock and speculation. Are the drop rates cranked up because it's still in testing? Wang Jin wondered aloud. Then someone shoved their phone in his face. "Look at this. The store only sells 1 lifetime card for $30, and it gives you a single daily draw. That's it. No VIP system, nothing. Not even a basic paywall setup." Another chimed in. "Even Sand Go has a full VIP 8-tier system. What kind of game is this?" Wang Jian opened up a chat with their CEO Bai An to clear things up. "Hey Bai An, is this version of the game official? There's barely anything in the store and no VIP system." The response was immediate, and oddly formal, as if written by a judge in a courtroom drama. "Yes, this is the official version," Bian confirmed. "We only offer one purchase option, the lifetime card. No future products planned." Wang Jian blinked in disbelief. "Why just one item?" "There is no why," Bian replied coolly. "Our game uses a pure buyout model. We didn't even want to include the $30 card initially, but added it for convenience." "What about ads?" Wang Jian typed back. "The download numbers are super low. Are we not promoting it?" "Of course we're not running ads," Bian responded, almost amused. "We're out of money. All $300,000 we had went into art, models, and music. That's the entire budget." Wang Jian stared at his screen. His eyes narrowed, and he stood. "Everyone, Guyang needs us." "I used to think CEO Bai was some rich mogul," he confessed. "That's why I didn't argue about pricing, but this guy's running on fumes." Someone asked, "Wait, so this game's generosity isn't because it's not meant to make money?" "No," Wang Jian said, fists clenched. "Bian believes in keeping things clean. No shady monetization. That's the philosophy of Saya Studio." The group erupted into discussion, but someone pointed out the obvious. No matter how noble the game is, if no one sees it, it's doomed. "Unless we're influencers or streamers, we can't promote it," another muttered. Ruan Guangan suddenly slammed the table. "If Bian insists on being idealistic, then I'll meet him halfway. I've already contacted some well-known artists. I'll ask them to help us come up with some creative ways to boost attention." Meanwhile, back at the dorm, Ma Yang looked defeated. He sat slouched in front of his laptop, groaning. "Why does our game suck so bad? Other games get thousands of downloads on day 1. We've got 10. Bian patted him on the back. "Hey, chill. Every new project starts small. It'll pick up." But inside, Bian wasn't as optimistic. "This game's got no hook. Nothing. Stands out. Nobody's gonna touch it," Mayang grumbled as he reopened the analytics dashboard. "Let me check the last 3 hours. Maybe there's been a miracle." Bian laughed quietly to himself. 3 hours? Try 3 months. It won't make a difference. We just need to hold out until the next settlement. Then I'm walking away with $300,000. "Bian!" Mayang suddenly shouted. "Dude, something's happening!" "What?" "Our downloads, they're spiking! Tons of reviews, too! All 5 stars!" Bai An nearly choked on his water. "Well, I'll be damned." "Wait, what did you just say?" he asked. Still in disbelief, the young man rushed to confirm it with his own eyes. Sure enough, the download numbers had suddenly shot up by the thousands, every single review a glowing 5-star. It didn't make sense. Aaron stood frozen, eyes wide, as if reality had just broken. Then, in a sudden outburst, he dropped to his knees, clutching his head, and cried out in torment. "Help me! Help me! What's going on with this world? What's really happening?" Hearing the commotion, Mayang sprinted over in alarm. "Bian, what's wrong? I know you've poured your soul into this game, and now that it's out, maybe..." "The pressure finally caught up to you," I get it. It must be overwhelming. But don't lose yourself in it. It's not worth your health. Bayan glanced up at her, forcing a hollow smile. Yeah, we did it. But inside, it didn't feel like success. It felt empty, desperate even. He wrestled with his emotions for a moment, then took a breath and tried to make sense of it. If we really failed, he thought, then I need to understand why. What exactly went wrong? He began scanning the reviews. One pattern emerged. Everyone kept mentioning the visuals, but how are they even seeing them? How did they get so much attention? He wondered. Determined to figure it out, Bayan began digging. Who's behind this? Who's skilled enough to pull this off? Then it hit him. Big names in the industry were promoting Wujiang. It had to be Ruan Guangjian. No way. Is that the reason? He muttered. Why would he do this? Why promote that instead of my game? Is he just trying to mess with me? Frustrated, Bayan fired off a message. Are you advertising Wujiang on Instagram? Guangjian quickly replied, yes. I asked a few artist friends to help spread the word. I saw how clean and polished your game is. It deserves recognition. We invested $300,000 in development alone. The quality speaks for itself. And my artwork hasn't received a single complaint. People genuinely like it. Reading this, Bayan felt a mix of emotions. There was anger, sure, but also gratitude. Well, he replied, thanks, I appreciate it. Guangjian followed up. Keep going, CEO Bayan. You've got talent. I believe you'll make even better games in the future. Hopefully, we'll get the chance to collaborate again. 1 week later, on accounting day, Bayan stood on his balcony, staring blankly out at the sky, deep in thought. A system message interrupted his silence. Current total capital, 514,000 net profit, 214,700 host earnings, 2,147 total personal assets. 2371 Bayan sighed heavily, reality crashing down on him. In just 1 week, Wujiang pulled in over $500,000, he thought. That's nearly $1 million in transactions. They not only recovered costs, they made serious profit. And me? I've only got 2,000 to my name. Tears welled up in his eyes as the numbers played over and over in his head. If this continues for 3 months, they'll make over 6 million. But me, how do I keep up? Rent a fancy office for $400K a month, hire 30 more staff for $200K, buy supplies, equipment. I've never done any of that. He was spiraling in worry when a gentle pat on the shoulder snapped him out of it. It was Ma Yang, cheerful as ever. Bayan, the game's on fire right now. Let's go treat ourselves, something fancy. Bayan gave a tired smile. Sure, let's go. Deep down, he remembered his promise. If we make money, I'll treat Ma Yang to a buffet. As they walked, Ma Yang asked curiously, You know, the game's a hit, but you don't look happy. What's on your mind? He gave a soft chuckle. Nothing really. Just been buried in development lately. I think I just need a breather. She bumped his shoulder playfully. You're the boss now. You've got to start taking care of yourself. You can't do everything solo. Hire an assistant, someone to take the weight off your shoulders. Bayan paused. An assistant? The idea hadn't occurred to him. Exactly, Ma Yang said. You've seen the movies. The slick CEO pulls up in a luxury car while the assistant handles the chaos back at HQ. There's even an old saying, if you've got a secretary, you've got no worries. His eyes lit up. You know what? You're right. I do need an assistant. He looked at her with a grin and gently placed a hand on her shoulder. You're a genius. I need someone professional, someone who can take care of everything. In his heart, a new plan was forming. With the right assistant, I could manage the office, hire the staff, buy supplies. Maybe this could work after all. True to his word, Bayan Kanwar headed straight for Jingo City, where the Renli Zan Group's service center was located in Gansu province. The moment he arrived, A man in a tailored suit greeted him with a warm smile. "Welcome, CEO Bayan," he said, respectfully. "I'm Lauren, the general manager of Renli Group in the Gansu-Hong area. It's an honor to assist you." Bayan shook his hand and nodded. "Good to meet you, Director Lauren. I'm here to recruit an assistant." Lauren responded promptly. "Do you have any particular requirements?" "Only one," Bayan said coolly. "The highest, a bidder." Lauren raised an eyebrow with interest, then gestured to a stack of documents already prepared on the table. "These are the best assistant candidates in Handong Province. Our headhunter has already reached out to them. They're sharp, capable, and very adaptable when it comes to communication and task execution." Bayan skimmed through the files until one name caught his attention. "Tan Hilu?" he asked. "She was an assistant vice president at a well-known firm. Why'd she resign? It's not listed here." Lauren hesitated for a moment, then gave a slight chuckle. "Perhaps CEO Bayan doesn't follow much gossip in the business world. The vice president she worked under got drunk and crossed a line. He was fired, and Tan Hilu resigned on her own shortly after." Bayan raised his eyebrows in surprise, quietly impressed. "That kind of integrity, admirable. Hire her." "Any requests regarding her role?" Lauren asked. "Just one," Bayan replied. "When I ask for her opinion, she can speak. Otherwise, she's to stay silent and avoid unnecessary questions." Lauren smiled knowingly. "Of course. That's standard for executive assistants." The next morning, 3 days later, a sleek car pulled up in front of a towering skyscraper. The arrival turned heads as the doors opened with polished precision. Out stepped a stunning woman with a graceful air about her. Tan Hilu, now Bayan's assistant, her monthly salary, a solid $30,000. With calm professionalism, she opened the door for him and said, "We've arrived." Bayan stepped out, eyes scanning the building towering above. Shenhua Havaj Jing, the most opulent office tower in all of Changqingzhou. He said nothing as they entered and ascended the building to meet a sharply dressed real estate agent. "If CEO Bayan prefers a private floor," the agent began enthusiastically, "you might consider the 17th. The view is spectacular. I'd be happy to show you." Bayan glanced at the city through the windows and nodded. "Nice view. And since you're starting a new business," the agent continued, "there are government perks. You can pay half now and the rest by the end of the month." "How much are we talking?" Bayan asked. The agent smiled and lifted 4 fingers. "Just $4 per square meter. Sure, it's a bit steep for Changqingzhou, but trust me, it's worth every penny. Perfect for building a solid image." Bayan blinked. "Only 4? That's surprisingly low." The agent was thrown off by the reaction. This guy doesn't look extravagant, he thought. Yet he's got a top-tier secretary. Maybe he's one of those low-key rich types. Internally, Bayan smirked. "That's even $1 less than I estimated. Leaves me with an extra $90,000 a month." The agent, still unsure of what to make of him, asked, "So, is the space to your liking?" With a casual nod, Bayan placed one hand in his pocket. "I'll take it." Meanwhile, his mind wandered. Wu Jiang is out there grinding hard for money every day. I can't afford to waste a single cent. "Great," the agent exclaimed. "I'll get the paperwork ready right away." Soon after, Bayan began speaking to the office manager, pointing around the space. "A good work environment boosts both morale and efficiency," he said. "The desks should be not just expensive but impressive. Computers must be top of the line. Dual monitors for every employee. Mechanical keyboards, high-end mice," he continued confidently. "Also, plants. Working all day strains the eyes. Greenery helps refresh the mind. Hire someone to care for them. That corner over there? Make it a gym. In this industry, people need to stay healthy." He paused, then added, "Reception should have a cozy feel. Sofas, high-end tea sets, and at least 7 or 8 varieties of premium tea. Negotiations go smoother when people feel welcomed." The manager looked at him wide-eyed. "Understood, CEO Bayan. I'll get started right away." May I ask, what's the maximum budget for setup? Bayan took a moment, then replied, somewhere between 500,000 and 800,000 dong. Closer to 800,000, preferably. As he spoke, he thought to himself, the system hasn't flagged anything, which means 800,000 is still within limits. He silently did the math. A 700,000 deposit plus 800,000 for the office. That's 1.5 million gone in the blink of an eye. That adds up fast.